Nosho. Kushayahi Israim. Wa Ayahi Nolosha. Wa Ngusha Ubadkina. Wa Ayahi Nolosha. Managaran Udededa Le Ehelkina Ba Bi Ia. Adorgina Eganaya. Ayashina Purethera Parahiza Mag Arti.
O people, in your togetherness lies your future. In the victory of your offspring lies your prosperity. I cannot fathom the purpose of killing close relatives while your enemy watches your exquisite destruction. Can you see their delight?
Islanimo ma laga gure. Awe ulamadi beshu. Mede taladi odeashu. Ma iada wa afeze. Mise mikalki ba udme. Wayo arag ma sadashe. Mise duraba ilade. Achun yachan ma falude. Wa yachan ma oran waye. Belo wala edeye. Abshirkuma su hoizo.
Have you abandoned your religion? Where are the religious leaders? Where's the elders' advice? Perhaps that's caused the harm? Or has the power to listen been blocked? Did the wise predict this? Or are none of them left? Have the intellectuals given their analysis? Couldn't those with knowledge have said, atrocities bring trauma, never any goodness? Thank you.
My apologies for any words that I got wrong there.
Fantastic.
Well, I represent Leicester Quaker Press, which is a tiny press. We've only been going for about 2 years, and we're all volunteers, and we've published really Quaker things up to now. This is our first branching out, and it's really co-published with JD's Achal Enterprise. And how the team came together is a story in itself. I'm a poet and budding playwright, and I was writing a short play, and I was casting around for a nationality for my 2 young women characters. And I came across Somalia, the nation of poets. Well, obviously I was hooked, hugely. A nation of poets. A place where poetry is entirely embedded in the culture. Somalia didn't have a written language till the early 1970s, and much communication was done through poetry. People learning poetry and passing it on, news, poetry when you're going about your daily life, that kind of thing. I thought this was so amazing and wanted to know more. And in the course of that research, I arranged to meet Ebian in Starbucks Cafe in Gallery Gate. We'd never seen each other before, and we'd only conversed by email, and it was a late Saturday afternoon, spring 2009, I think, and Ebian was coming home from Nottingham, and she came into the cafe and saw this vaguely mad woman sitting in the corner staring at her, and took the risk and came over and spoke to me and helped me with the play tremendously, as did some other young Somali women in the city. And during the course of that conversation, she told me about the book that Jawahir, Marianne and Maria had published in Holland in Dutch. And I've got some background in publishing, and again, I was hooked on it. I said, well, if I could, love to be involved in that if I could. And obviously she said yes. And so I went to see my friend Karen Collar, Jawa here says has been absolutely central to the publishing of this book, particularly the technical stuff. She runs Sounds Right Press, poetry press in Leicester, and we got together, and here is the product of that, after all that work. There have been other fruits from our teamwork, and that is that I was asked to write my first full-length play, which I've now done, and it's called The Road from Bardera, and that had a reading at the Guildhall in Theatre in Derby a few weeks ago, so we're hoping to get a production for that. But I think one of the things that brought us together was the fact that we live in Leicester, and the fact that we have organisations such as the City of Sanctuary, which tries to provide a welcoming atmosphere for asylum seekers and refugees. And it was through that organisation, which has a Quaker connection, a strong Quaker connection, that I went to Jawa here and then to Abiyan, and the whole thing started. It was quite a journey, but it's made all the difference being in Leicester. I think I'll do a quick reading. It's from the book. It's a short reading from a woman called Ibado. Ibado had a difficult time, a very difficult time. She fled internally first when the war started to a place that was called Heavenly Baidao, Heavenly Place, this place which was known as being heavenly. She fled there first. That came under attack. She went back to the capital, and she didn't see her husband or speak to him for over 2 years, and she was fleeing with a small child. Eventually, they got to Holland, and this is what she says about that. When I settled in Holland, I applied for a family reunion for some of my siblings, and 3 of them were brought to me in Holland. This was in 1992. We were very welcomed in Holland. We stayed in a refugee camp for 7 months and started to learn the Dutch language. We all had to share one room in the refugee camp, and many other things were shared. This was a new experience to me. Places like bathrooms being shared and having to queue for food were experiences that I had to get used to. I felt like a real refugee and understood the meaning of being one for the first time. I felt embarrassed to queue for food. Sometimes I skipped meals because of this and bought bread from the shop instead. It was a real culture shock. Thank you.